And welcome back to another Rocket Refuel. We have obviously a weekly episode during football season, and we're trying to deliver on our promise of getting a podcast that's affiliated with the university that we're playing that week. And tonight we have a special guest, Tyler from Topper Talk, also within our podcast network together. We appreciate you coming on, Tyler.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. And I can't wait for this game on Saturday. It should be fun.
Absolutely. There's a lot of similarities in these teams, and we think it's
Mhm.
going to be a high scoring game. With us tonight, as always, we have Dan Rocketman Savage.
What's up, everybody?
Dan, let's plug our sponsor that's behind you there.
Yeah, our sponsor for the episode is Whiskey Red Saloon, downtown Toledo. They're 2 for 2 for away watch parties. So if you're not making it down to Bowling Green, Kentucky, go downtown, get yourself a rocket shot, and watch the game with a bunch of other UT fans.
Mm.
That's right. It was a pretty good turnout last Saturday, correct?
Yeah. We flew the tailgate flags and just stuck it under one of those giant flower pots downtown. And we had like cornhole going, and yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome. And then, as always, we have Texas Rocket, Nate Kresge.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
So we're going to get it kicked off, learn a little bit about Topper Talk. Tyler, how did the podcast get started? And are you officially affiliated with the university or pretty well connected?
Yeah, well, we are affiliated with the NIL, the Red Tail Trust for WKU. We started out, funny enough, Moff, he was actually doing another podcast called the Moonshine Throwdown Podcast, which is a rivalry between WKU and Marshall. And, I always listen to it. And then I'd meet him at some of the football games and we'd talk. And then once that rivalry dissolved or Marshall left Conference USA, he was one to do another podcast for WKU. So, he sent the notification out on Twitter saying, hey, does anybody want to join me? I'm looking for someone. And I messaged him, and it took us about 2 years to get this thing started just for our timelines to meet up and all that. And this is our year 2 of Topper Talk, and it's going great. Like I said, we got brought in by the NIL collective, which is nice. And we're getting press passes and press credentialed to go set up in press boxes.
Very cool. And I saw you have a pretty strong following on Twitter. So in 2 years, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, sir. It's awesome. I've never thought I'd be doing a podcast. Of course, me and him both graduated from Western. I graduated later. I graduated in 2014. And man, it's just a dream come true being able to cover all the sports, see the basketball players, see the football players, getting to interview them, the coaches. I mean, it's awesome.
We completely get it. We're in the same boat. Kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
So I'll turn it over to Dad. He's got a question to kick it off here.
All right.
Okay, so you guys have the best sponsor commercial of anything I've ever heard with the Trent Betting Company. Like if I say to my friends, Trent Betting, they'll go, hey, like it's absolutely like, is that like someone you guys know, or like is that just a commercial that runs on TV down there? Like, what's up with the sponsorship, and like how do you guys get that?
Well, he actually graduated from WKU. He owns his little business out there, and that commercial does run on TV. He's ran quite a few commercials like that throughout the past few years. And Moff approached him and said, "Hey, man, do you want to be a sponsor of the podcast?" And he said, "Yeah." And he gave us that ad to play, and every time we play it, whenever I'm in the middle of the podcast, I can't help but laugh. I'm glad the camera can't see me because I'll be back there dancing while it's playing. But you're right; it is one of the greatest commercials that I've ever seen.
Oh, it's just classic.
It's just like a mattress store. Hey. Sorry.
No, you're good. So what type of town would you call Bowling Green, Kentucky? Like what are you guys known for? Toledo's kind of like more of like the auto industry, but what's it like in Bowling Green?
Man, Bowling Green, I would probably say, it's just kind of a classic college town. You got your downtown, the square. Western's right up the hill from the square, but we're best known for the Corvette Museum, the Corvette plant. It's been here since 1981. And we actually now they have a racetrack or a Corvette track across I-65. And we also have the Corvette Museum. We're best known for the Bowling Green Massacre that happened back, I think, in 2017. That was when the Cinco opened up in the museum, and sadly, some Corvettes did lose their lives. But now you can still walk over that Cinco, and they actually have like plexiglass underneath you to where you can look down and see it and see some of the cars that are still in there. Um, but yeah, I mean,
That's a cheap way to fix a hole.
I know, right? I remember that happened, man. It was wild, but no, it's great having the Corvette plant right here because I'm actually wearing a Bowling Green Jeep Owners Association shirt because I have a Jeep Wrangler, which comes from Toledo. Been up there, passed by it.
It's huge here.
Solid.
Yep. There's a huge Wrangler event downtown every year. We definitely have a lot of pride in building those.
As well as y'all should, because that's a great American vehicle.
For sure.
Yeah.
So Toledo fans come down to visit, tailgating recommendations, any kind of like bar scene, or just anything interesting to go see while they're there. I mean, I was there in 2020 during COVID because you guys are one of the few stadiums that allowed fans during COVID. So I came down, I played Marshall, and a lot of stuff was kind of closed, so it wasn't in just me and my wife. We just kind of took a little trip, but a whole lot. I did. We went to Owensboro and saw the Green River Whiskey distillery, but that's about all we did. So, got anything for the fans that are coming to check out?
Yeah, it depends on how long y'all are coming in, how long you're staying. One thing you can go see is the Corvette Museum. If you come in on let's say you come in on Friday, you got Mammoth Cave, Lost River Cave there in Bowling Green. Lost River Cave's about 24 miles away. It's not very far. It's beautiful. Bar scene wise, you got Hilligan's, which is right down the road from Western, from Cherry Hall. There you got Topper Social, both of them. Topper Social opens up at 12. Hilligan's opens up at 11. You got Cliffs of Moore, which is an Irish pub. It's down there on the square. And I'm talking about the square, and it is a beautiful part of Bowling Green. A bunch of old buildings. You actually, up on top of the hill at Western, you actually have what's left of a Civil War fort. It has like a little trench that you can walk in. It's right behind Cherry Hall. If you got visiting fans coming down, I would highly suggest getting there kind of early and just walking around campus because it is such a beautiful place. And just overlooks the city of Bowling Green because, Hilltoppers, we're way on top of that thing. But for tailgating, I would probably say go down to South Lawn lot. It's where a bunch of the Greek houses are, and it's a first come first served basis. When we played EKU, I was actually there, and behind us was an EKU tent. So, visiting teams can come down there, set up tents, drink. It's cans only, no glass, bottles or anything like that. For parking, you can park down at Creason lot and across over at the Russellville Road West lot. They actually that's free parking. They actually have buses that will take you to close to the stadium. University Boulevard, Chestnut Street lot, South are both free tailgating, but they ain't got a shuttle. So if you park there, you can set out your vehicle with your friends and drink and party, and then just end up walking to the football stadium. I mean, another place that has a bus taking you there is the Kentucky Street Lots or the Alumni Square or Square Garage. It's on top of the hill, kind of on the north side of the university, but there is a bus that will take the fans down there. But yeah, whenever I go, I always end up getting to South Lawn. It's right next. It's right next to the football field. It's a nice little square, nice little quad, great place. To just sit around and socialize and hang out, have a few beverages if you want to, and just listen to the music and take in game day, man.
Toledo
Do you
fans,
guys
the most important piece of that information: cans, no bottles.
Yes, yes. No, cans, no balls, and I ain't gonna tell you what to do if you're underage. You probably shouldn't be partaking in that anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
can you guys buy alcohol in the stadium? I know some don't do that yet, but
Yes, we sell beer inside the
good.
stadium. Yeah.
I won't get too thirsty then. That's just what I needed to hear.
Yeah, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
so kind of more about the matchup here.
Hmm.
Um, Mississippi State scored about 20 some more points against Eastern Kentucky than you guys did. Now you guys shut them
Hmm.
out, so that's great.
Hmm.
But Toledo only gave up 17 to Mississippi State.
Hmm.
So is there any fear that, you know, defensively, like Toledo might be quite a bit better than just the transitive property connection here between Eastern Kentucky and you guys playing them and what we did to Mississippi State?
Well, I would say, well, definitely Toledo defense will be better, but seeing how we had a different quarterback at that time, with Finley, I felt like the offense was more slowed down. He wasn't really aggressive, and they wouldn't really play up tempo or fast. Since Caden's came in, what he did last year versus ODU, and then coming in off the bench, people thought he was going to be QB1. That was the presumption after the bowl game coming in until the news that Finley did transfer in. But then you look what we did to MTSU, which it's MTSU. You can take that with a grain of salt. The offense, though, did play fast. They played a lot better, if you ask me. They took bigger shots downfield. He put the players in. Caden put his guys in the position to be successful, to where they just weren't going to get hit or go down. I mean, it was like a complete 180 from each other, and I think the offense it brought me back to the days of whenever Jeff Brom was there, kind of, or Hilton's first few years there. A real fast offense putting up a lot of points.
You know, and that makes sense too because Caden's been in the system. So
Mm-hmm.
especially now with the helmet communications, TJ Finley probably doesn't know the playbook as well, or he just some things or the verbiage is different. So
Yeah.
I could see how you guys are playing faster now and at least confident in the game plan,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
scary for Toledo, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
If I can say one more thing too,
yeah,
against EKU, I think 8 receivers caught the ball. Against MTSU when Caden was there. You had 12 different receivers that ended up catching a pass and getting yards on that. So it's not just Finley. I don't know. I feel like he zeroed in on one receiver the majority of the time. Where Caden's there, I mean, any guy can end up catching that ball. It just adds so much more weapons out there when Caden's out there. If you ask me.
yeah. I was going through the box score and I'm like, how many guys do I have to look up here and figure out their height and weight? I was like, okay, 6'1", 6'1". Then I was like, oh, 5'8", 5'9", and I'm like, oh, those are the guys that are the playmakers, which like, is a lot like Toledo,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What
Um,
is there like a game rhythm you see that like this go like back and forth or like really really high scoring? I know Texas Nate predicted on our podcast the other night that he thought it was going to be really high scoring. So what are you really thinking?
Man, like whenever we did, me and Steven did our preseason predictions, I said the score was going to be 28-17 Tops win. Since we talked, I had been knocking that around, and I was like, no, it's going to be higher score than that. I just got that feeling. I thought it was going to. I think the over and under is what, 60 something?
58 and a half
63.
right now.
58 and a half?
Oh, it went up.
It went
Or it
down.
went down.
Yeah.
It went
I
down.
think it was 62 and a half.
62 and a half yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, my score prediction that I ended up selling on is going to blow that out the water.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a
Nate,
great game.
you got a tough question for him now?
Yeah. Okay. So, I think it was like 2 years ago, there was talks about Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee State possibly joining the MAC conference.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What were your feelings on that? And then going forward, as a Group of Five fan, not power conference or whatever that they want to call the big teams, the big teams we'll call them.
Yeah.
What do you think the Group of Five needs to do to remain competitive, remain in the talk of college football, to be in the playoffs, and just make their statement that we belong in that mix?
Well, I'll start out with the first question. I actually had to sit back and kind of look at it because Western, we ended up starting out in the Sun Belt and then coming to Conference USA. And we've always had that connection with these Florida schools and going down south. So I was kind of apprehensive about joining the MAC. But I starting out, then I got thinking, well, it probably wouldn't be that bad. And then the MTSU thing kind of screwed us over. They were like, we'd rather stay here in Conference USA and collect that money and be little welfare kids, whatever. So we got stuck in Conference USA, but Conference USA did make some good moves. And now I don't know. I've heard something that Western may be talking about it again in the future about joining the MAC. I think that could be nice to entertain. I don't know if they ever would join though. But then moving on to your second question about what could the Group of Five do to make ourselves better. Oh gosh, I mean, right there's $1 million question, because if we could figure that out, you got to knock off the power fives and power fours. Sorry, as much as you can, and you just got to bully them. You got to make sure you got to let them know that they're not the elitists that they think they are. They all put their pants on the same way we do, one leg at a time. And it does kind of piss me off when some of those guys talk their trash, because, like, dude, just because your school has been in, using Kentucky for this one example, your school's been in that same conference, I think, for close to 90 years. Like, it's 80, 90 years. You've never won a conference champion. Well, you may have won one or two conference championships. You're just there. You're just SEC in name only. Sit down and shut up. Anywhere else you'd be a Group of Five, but whatever. I don't know. I think you got to change. I think ESPN and all of them have to change their narrative.
I think basketball helps them out a little bit, though.
Yes, it does. It does. I'm sorry about getting off on that little tangent. It's just some of the fans I got to deal with.
We like it. That's great.
Do you think the weekday? So the MAC has always had action during the week.
Yeah.
When November hits, I know now you guys, October is kind of like your guys' month. Do you like those weekday games, or?
I feel like it does kind of hurt the fans' attendance a little bit, because, you got people Saturday. Sometimes Western is hard to draw crowds in anyway. Like a few years ago, we were hosting the conference championship. It was a rainy day. It was terrible weather. Hardly anybody showed up. I can't remember what team we were playing, but we were still hosting the conference championship. We ended up winning it, but really no one was there in the stadium. When it comes to October, we got the Wednesdays and Thursday games. I felt like all that does is, yes, it may give you more national attention on TV, but for the crowd inside the stadium, it just hurts it, and I don't know if it makes it look any better or not, honestly.
That's a great point. I'm glad as a MAC fan that the conference championships at Ford Field, short of a blizzard, being indoors is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I think if Toledo ends up having one of those Cinderella seasons, if you're 8-0 and playing midweek in November, then that's when the exposure can pick up. Like, that's how Northern Illinois got on the map. in 2012 and 13 because they were, undefeated and then ended up going to the Orange Bowl. It's like you get 1 million watchers on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. That's big time. But usually it's 150,000 watching, and that's just the degenerate gamblers. So I understand that perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
So Tyler, we grilled you with a few questions. Just curious, do you have anything for us?
All right, have y'all done y'all score predictions for this weekend's games?
Yeah, we're going to release a graphic tomorrow. So
okay.
We already, if you listen to the podcast, you would know. But tomorrow we'll have a graphic. We got all our heads on it, and then it has all our scores on there.
Okay, all right, cool. So is y'all's? I know we talked about it earlier, but I'm just going to on our podcast, Dan. But I'm just going to ask again because I know one of our Achilles tendons is a mobile QB, really dominant running back. Trust me, it's been our Achilles heels for years, and I hate it. How do y'all see y'all's QB? I know he had 40 yards versus Mississippi State on 10 carries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is he known to be very, very mobile, or like is your running back more power or elusive?
Okay, so Nate, you can kind of add on to this. When he was recruited to go to Texas or to Georgia Tech, that was the last year that they were triple option. So he ran for like 1,100 yards his senior year in high school. Now, since he's gained 30 pounds and over 6 years of college, I mean, he's a big boy. So and he's tough as nails. So he's not elusive, but he's not gonna slide. And he's not afraid, even though he should be afraid of taking some contact because we don't have another one of him behind him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he can run, but it's definitely not his first option. Nate, you got anything extra?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I just don't feel like it's in like the game plan for them. But if forced to, he does have the ability to run. He can scramble.
But now we do expect the run game to open up a little bit more in the game plan. It hasn't really been there this year so far, but we do have 3 running backs that all have different skill sets and can definitely get us where we need to be.
Okay, man, that sounds exactly like us. And I know me, Steve, and Dan talked about it earlier. And you mentioned it earlier. This game is going to be a fist fight. I feel like I feel because y'all's quarterback. He said he's not no sissy. He will run. He will take some contact. Caden and he's done it as well. We have multiple running backs. Our wide receivers are great weapons. Big time plays. Our defense gives up big time plays too. Aggressive wide receivers like they did against Amar Kelly down there at MTSU. Man, this is crazy. It's going to be a great game, dude.
Yeah, I flipped from preseason. I went 11-1 for the season, and Western Kentucky was the loss. I did think Mississippi State was going to be essentially a 1-point win. Since last week, though, did change my mind a little bit, but I still think it's going to be a close game.
Oh yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of offense. It's going to be fun. If you like offense, watch the game because I think it's going to be real high scoring. So.
Oh yeah. I'm right there with you, brother.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's another wrap up for Rocket Refuel. But if you are going down, Rocket Man Dan Savage is going to be there, and definitely try to reach out to the boys at Topper Talk and say hi. And they seem very friendly, and I'm sure they're accommodating. So,
yes, sir.
The only thing we have to say is TOL.
Yo.